Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, with the burning question of the night that has been plaguing me for weeks upon weeks. What is RAGS? Who is Regina Rogowski? Why does it matter to anybody? And exactly what African-American actor is going to play her in the Netflix adaptation? All these questions and more will be answered tonight as we welcome to the show our guest, Mr. Brian Ball from RAGS. Brian, how are you today?
I am sober, but we're about to fix all that.
I heard you.
Cheers, mate.
Let's do it. All right. So I was not kidding in the Twitter threads when I said, I know nothing about this, but I see all the tweets. I don't ever see the comic in my local comic shop because, you know, they carry 7 titles. In the back of a record store, and
is that Tower Records?
No, it's like it's a used record store. So,
ooh.
Oh yeah, so it's like the nearest comic shop after that was another 100 miles, and they closed. That would have been Michael Tierney's shops down in Little Rock. So yeah, I'm in a comics desert here unless I crowdfund stuff, which is what I've been doing a lot of now. So I see the art. I'm like, this is great, but I see multiple versions too. It's like, are there multiple universe RAGS titles going on? Why is it RAGS? Set me straight here, Brian. How did this come about, and how did it get where it is?
Oh man, how did this start? First of all, I just want to say hi to hey, it's up, Pumpkin Bear, what's up, Boo Bear? It's my buddy Trent's in chat. Love that dude. My co-writer. So this all started because Trent and I were jokingly on this Left 4 Dead binge, and we were trying to beat a map, and one night basically he caught me using a very dirty mod, and once I got caught, I ended up just trying to defend it. Like, no, like this whole entire reason, she's just looking for pants, bro. She's looking for pants. And that eventually springboarded us into writing the story RAGS as it is known today. So that's the backstory. As far as the 2 versions, there should be like a censored version, which you can find on our Patreon, and then you could find the uncensored version, censored version, which is published by Antarctic Press, and then the uncensored version, which is on our Patreon.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, the beer hasn't kicked in, so I'm.
But that's just they're not different stories though, are they?
No, it's not different stories. It's just really badly photoshopped bunnies that I find hilarious, just put in there. Because as you can see by the way YouTube treated your thumbnail, most people are apprehensive to nudity. I don't care. I think it's funny.
Well,
so
I fixed the thumbnail, and YouTube has left it up, and I'll just I show it to people that I just put a little sandwich board over her, and I filled it in with the letter from YouTube telling why she's got to be covered like that. So, but I feel like there's RAGS, this apparently vampire hunter living in a post-apocalyptic world, and then all of a sudden there's Sailor Rogowski, who's in aliens world on spaceships, and like same person, alternate reality person, descendant. I have no clue.
Okay, so all right, so we're gonna split this into 2 separate talks then. All right, so first we have like our main RAGS timeline, right? That's where you know, the zombie apocalypse has happened to California, which has actually improved the place, in my opinion.
Yes.
And Regina is going through with her buddy Operator trying to survive and figure things out. So that's that story arc. And then we also have our spinoff Sailor Rogowski, which it kind of came out of like what's that guy's name? This guy's name was like Draki Aranek, and he did like a Sailor Captain Marvel kind of pinup like a few years ago, and I was like, oh my god, that's cool. I wonder if he'll do like one for us. And so we had him do that and that was like one of our issue 4 variants. And it actually got so popular within our Discord, I was like, you know what? I might as well just write a short little story for this. And so that came just like this little side plot story that we did. Currently
no
within a
relation.
rewrite. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I can dig it.
Okay, so the way I'll just say the two stories do connect. Just not in the way people are going to expect to think.
Oh, so it's still a secret then.
Yes.
So when Mori Kiopa, I can't say that. I don't know how. He wants a vampire hunter Rogowski, so I guess that's a possibility then in the future.
It can be. It absolutely can be. I will say, like most. Hey Brooks, happy anniversary! Tell your wife I love her. Go spend time with her wife. You could go back and watch this later, bud.
Bring her in to watch it. Better yet, tell her to watch it on her phone so we get an extra view out of the deal.
Yeah, get her on the phone so you can both just watch this together. So, what was I saying? Okay, so a lot of people have kind of like shoehorned us into the whole zombie Walking Dead box, but where we are actually taking this is I'll just say it like we're going zombies, monsters, robots, other stuff.
Cool.
So that's kind of like the direction we're heading, because you can only do like zombies once and then it's not funny anymore. So you got to do, not necessarily bigger and better, but just more interesting things.
So you're looking at the zombie story then as more of a limited arc.
Yes.
As rather than an ongoing one. So where are we at in that arc? In the middle, and you're still into the beginning?
Oh, okay. So we just finished the beginning, and we're about to go into like our mid-ish story arc right now. You'll start seeing like I've been doing you'll see pictures or tweets of like Black Nito showing up, and that's going to be like the beginning of our second arc moving forward. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's going to actually start with a crossover between us, Punchline, and Black Ops. And if you know Black Ops is by Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini.
Yes.
So we're going to have to tone some stuff down. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm still, I know you guys have done the Black Ops thing before, I believe. Which tells me that there's some sort of dimension hopping here, because I know Black Ops doesn't happen in a zombie apocalypse unless your zombie apocalypse is localized to just California.
It is, for all intents and purposes, it is just localized in California. And that's something like we put out like at the very beginning of the book, like this is just California this is happening to. Couldn't happen to a better place other than New York, but.
Well, they're already cannibalizing everybody there, so, at least in LA.
I thought that was Florida.
Oh, that too. Might be some zombies there. So you work with Tim and Mark. Are we ever going to see them with Common America then?
I can't say anything at this time about that.
That means yes.
That means I plead the fifth.
Well, I know that I recently saw your gin. I tried to come up with something alliterative, like the Winged Wonder or something, but I couldn't come up with a ginger anything. But I saw her hanging around with Niobe on a cover and on a coffee mug that didn't make it here in time for me to hold up. So you're making your way around the whole AP world, I would guess.
Yes, and I'm also setting myself up to. I can't spoil this thing either, but you may see more of us in the Punchline universe moving forward too. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Now Punchline, that's another one that that's a whole side issue because I wrote that article almost a year ago. Almost a year and a half ago now, when DC started to do Punchline as a character, and Ted Sikora had Punchline as a character, and you guys had a book called Punchline that beat out his character appearance by a month. I'm like, yeah, but there's no character. Oh my God, the trademark dispute on this one is the potential to just be fun to watch.
Yes, but I can't speak on that because that's Bill Williams's arena, and I don't want to throw any gasoline on that fire.
Yeah, I know, but it was just every time I think of Punchline, I'm like, when's that going to happen? When's it going to happen? I'll be there for it.
My favorite part of, I will say, like, my favorite part of that whole thing was when Rob Liefeld caught it. It was like, I would much rather draw this other Punchline than the DC's Punchline. And so we've actually been trying to get Rob Liefeld to draw a cover for those guys since then.
That would be very cool to see. I'm glad to see all these pros from the heyday of comics, the 90s heyday, coming back and doing more independent work.
Finally giving us the recognition that we deserve.
Yes, absolutely. My next big question, I guess, is who is Liz Finnegan, and what connection does she have to this universe? Because it seems like it's about her, and I'm like, but it's called Regina.
Liz is so how do I explain this without incriminating myself like I always do? So basically, long story short, I found Liz through Twitter, and during that time, Gamergate was going on, and
has it ever stopped?
Apparently not for games journalism. It hasn't stopped. But the key point from that is, well, somebody, I forgot who it was, who the actual journalist was, but one of the female game journalists at the time had, like, she had this coffee mug, and on the coffee mug it said "Male Tears," and she had tweeted out, like, "Here I am, just bathing and sipping on male tears, ha ha ha," and then Liz tweets a picture of herself holding a mug that says "That means semen." And at the time, it was the most funniest shit I had ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. So, sorry, it's so funny.
I think I saw Perk just explain that whole white male tears thing again.
So that I can't breathe.
That's one thick milkshake in that coffee mug.
Oh yeah. So since then I was just just a fan following her on Twitter because she was tweeting funny stuff. And then if you ever seen her football tweets, those are a roller coaster. So where Liz got involved was after Trent and I had gotten like the initial script done, and then we got rejected, then banned by Amazon, and then rejected all over the place, and went through like half dozen artists and whatnot. I kind of reached out to her like, hey, kind of doing this thing. It's got zombies in it. We're going to be touching on PTSD and a bunch of other stuff. And we have this Easter egg that you're the main character. Are you cool with this? And she checked it out and was like, oh my God, yes. And since then, she's just been, helping us stay on track, helping with some marketing tips and how to tweet right and whatnot. And, just along for the ride.
So Liz Finnegan cosplay cover when?
I think we already had one.
Did you?
But we're actually working on. That was on Patreon. That's why.
Oh well.
That's why. But we're actually working on. Actually, I think I still have that up. We had a print up for a little bit of her. Because we did do like a cosplay shoot like very early on, right before COVID hit. Yeah, we still have it. Bam! I'll just drop it right here in the private chat.
All right, I will pull it up and then I will share it. Bum, 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 bum.
But she actually did like this whole photo shoot up in Canada for us, and then we've been planning to get another one done, but scheduling, photographers, then COVID happens, and then lockdown and other stuff.
That all the sucky stuff. So we got here. Well, so that's a nice little. So this is where the unicorn hoodie comes in from.
One of the things, yes.
Very, very cool. So that was she did do a cosplay cover then.
Yes, we're actually looking to do a more professional one. We actually had see if I can find it. We had like a little Lizception sort of picture taken. I never did anything with it like I had planned because I got too overwhelmed and busy with work.
Jason over at Sci-Fi for me is asking, has the outfit been delivered? And I don't know what outfit you're talking about, Jason.
I do. As far as I know, she has everything that she needs to start fulfilling that whatever it's called. It's not a crowdfunder.
So this outfit?
Thing.
I mean,
no, not that one. It was it's another one. Where is that silly picture? Ah, there it is. I'll actually have to DM this to you.
I can do that. Hey, Team YouTube sent me a link. Please tell us about your experience with Team YouTube. Oh,
suck.
I don't have time for that.
Right. Where did it go? I just saw it. I hate like when you just like find a picture and then it just like disappears in your little folder. I can't find it. I'm a bad sober guy right now. Where'd it go?
Ginger Dominion says it's the sexy outfit, and Matt's like, "Oh, that outfit." I'm thinking it's probably every outfit so far.
I plead the fifth. I just plead the fifth.
There's a lot of busting loose here.
Yeah, there it goes. Finally. Whew. All right.
There I see it. Got the DM. Oh, that's actually very cute. Share that here.
Oh no, you doxed me.
Oh no! Her address is on the bottom of the picture. No, and she's holding up a RAGS, a zombie shopping spree.
Yeah, that was we've since dropped the subtitle. That's kind of like back when we first started. We've made a ton of changes while in motion. Hey, no, I can actually deem like all the other stuff. See, like the old
right there. Now this is the more military outfit we've seen your character in.
Yes, that's going to be her suit moving forward.
So she.
Sorry to disappoint everybody. Yeah.
Now, so the unicorn hoodie is from the comic, or did you go into the comic because she had a unicorn hoodie?
Oh no, like the unicorn, it just came from the script in itself. So like after we got the initial draft of the script done, it like the running joke was like, okay, and I'm pretty much spoiling the whole entire main joke of the book. It's like, okay, this chick has ran around this whole entire town without pants. What should we end with? Like I couldn't figure it out, and my buddy from the National Guard was with me at the time and was like, how about like a unicorn onesie? I was like, what? It's like, yeah, do a unicorn onesie and then just like tactical it out. Like, motherfucker, that's fucking genius. And so
she kind of just ran with that. That'd be ridiculous.
Right? Let's see. Bullet Ninja Hagelman says, I mean, the suit means less time drawing the tattoos. Actually, we don't draw the tattoos. We have like a template, and then what we do is just we take that template, move that over to Photoshop, and just warp it onto her body and erase what we don't need.
I was going to ask how you did that because that's I mean, I could see if you were doing the whole 3D modeling artwork thing which some people are doing now, then it'd be like, yeah, super easy, just it's a skin. But your artwork in this book, well, I'm not gonna say your artwork. I don't know if you even draw the book. Somebody else draws the book, as far as I know.
I wish I did. No, it's Luigi that draws the book. He does all the heavy lifting. That man is a gift from God.
Yeah, it looks like it's done traditionally. It could be done digitally. I can never tell anymore because the
So
tools are
what
so good.
he does, he actually has a specific brush that he uses. I'm not at liberty to say what brush that is, but he does that brush digitally. And then what he does is he throws in I forget what program he uses, but he ends up throwing it in a Photoshop and then just, you know, doing all the word bubbles. And then I go in and I do all the lettering and everything else.
Sure. Um, so is Patreon the only way that you guys do this crowdfunding, or do you even do that anymore? Is it just all um, straight to AP?
So what we do is we do Patreon first and foremost. That's where the majority of our stuff comes in. That's where we get our funding. And Patreon actively represents like our overall budget for the project. So if we have, let's say, 300 Patreons, and that ends up being like $6,000 for say, that means, hey, if we're getting $6,000 a month, we can do X number of things. We draw X number of pages faster, get X number of things done, and whatnot. We actually did like a Kickstarter that I didn't take seriously, and an Indiegogo, which I also didn't take seriously, last year, just because there was like that group that said like, well, I'm not going to buy your book unless you do a Kickstarter. Then I'm not going to buy your book unless you do Indiegogo. So we did both, and it was just for issues 1 through 6, uncensored. Right now, I believe AP has their censored trade out still that you can buy.
Okay.
And we are in the middle of filling our uncensored trade, which after I speak to my printer again later tonight and get all those shipped out, those are over and done with for the time being. But
And
there's
that
the
was
link
all funded
to
through Patreon. So you're doing
correct.
physical fulfillment through because anytime I've ever seen Patreon before, it's always been like a digital reward, and I'm like, I don't like digital rewards. I don't buy digital. I buy physical.
So what we have is like we have it tiered. So like, okay, you have like the tier where you're never going to read the work, but you actually like what we do. So hey, there's your dollar tier. Then we have like a digital only tier for people who can't afford the space to read digital. So they get to see all the work in progress, all the pages, all the sketches, and whatnot. And they get that. And then we have our physical tiers, which had to overhaul it a couple weeks ago. But the physical tiers, they start getting books with variants. We have one tier that gets sketch cards from Luigi, about to get sketch covers too. So it just really depends on like how fast we can get things coordinated and delivered in a respectable, reasonable timeline. But we have a lot of physical stuff.
Yeah.
I know all of last year, in lieu of COVID slowing a lot of stuff down, we started doing merch rewards. So every 3 months you got maybe like a sticker, then the next 3 months you got a mug, then the next 3 months you got a t-shirt, and then we're looking to expand upon that here later. We might be doing like computer mats, not to be confused with mouse pads.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah, like we got a lot of merch that we'll hook people up with. It just takes some coordination.
All right. Now, one of the things we talked about before the stream here, not that stuff, was the general confusion that some people had when I said, "Hey, I'm having the people here from AP's RAGS on," and they were like, "I've had people tell me they're not with AP anymore; they're New Age Ninja Corps." So you want to figure that one out for people?
Okay, so no, we haven't left AP. That's one. Two, the New Age Ninja Corps branding, that's our Patreon side of the house. Basically, that's how we identify ourselves and kind of separate, because there was some confusion in the beginning, like, okay, well, what's the difference between the censored and uncensored? Like, okay, well, this should help, separate the two. So you have APs, which is always going to be censored. And then you have the New Age Ninja Corps version, which should always be uncensored.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if you see New Age Ninja Corps, you're not going to have anything censored inside it.
correct. Like we've actually went through and kind of fixed some assets, and I'll show you a preview. I already tweeted this out like a while ago, but we have been actively trying to revamp and revise our stuff, because actually when we first did this, it was only ever intended to be like a web comic, so we didn't have a lot of like corner boxes made or covers. Like we hadn't really cared about any of that stuff, and then it's like, oh, people actually care about this stuff. That's
yeah. People want physical
that's different
versions of this,
right? And then like back pages, like, oh my god. So we kind of finally settled on about the Mew, our new trade box moving forward, and then our new back page.
I got it.
Bazinga.
You're challenging my ability to share screens, unshare screens, reshare screens. I've already boomered it once by showing the screen I didn't mean to show.
I'm sorry.
No, it was all I did was show my Twitter feed instead of the page I want to show. So there's the new back page.
Yes.
That's a cool. Now that's more of the style that would be in line with Common America stuff. If she ever shows there, and we're not saying that she ever will.
I can never get permission.
Oh, I don't see that as a problem.
It might be. I don't know.
Forgiveness is easier to get than permission.
Well, Tim and I have been friends for, man. Okay, kind of go back to the way beginning. Like Tim and I have been friends since he got blacklisted by the Mount Olympus comics people. I still hold that grudge to this day, and I know I shouldn't, but like we've been friends since then. So that's a long time.
Yeah, Tim was
I'd rather not. I would much rather, not piss off my friend.
Yeah, I get that. Tim was one of the first crowdfunding comics interviews that I did. Gosh, almost 2.5 years ago. We both had the same LCS guy. I'd had him 20 years earlier, and I was driving through the state and popped in to say hi and everything. And he was Tim's actual local guy, and Tim knew I was passing through, and he popped in, and we did a live interview there in the store, asking about, at the time, I was looking at these crowdfunding things like, these things take 6 to 8 months to produce. They're $25 to $30 each for 40 pages of comic. How in the world are you guys ever going to, make this something feasible and repeatable that's, going to be sustainable? You guys do it through, monthly subscriptions on Patreon. I guess that is the one advantage of Patreon over the other crowdfunding methods, is that the money comes in every month.
Yes. And like the good thing about Patreon versus all the other platforms, at least as far as Brian Ball is concerned, like every platform has their pros and cons, right? The good thing about Patreon is, as long as that money comes in, we can keep paying Luigi to keep drawing. So as long as he keeps drawing, that means the work never stops. And we have at least 10 to 15 years worth of content. And once I get done with this interview, I'm going to go write some more stuff. So we have at least 25 years worth of content to go through. And so as long as we keep getting the money, we can keep producing content, which is something that Tim and Mark kind of take advantage of, as far as like how they're able to produce stuff, because they pay each other on the back end of stuff. So Tim is able to just, in his spare time, just work and work and work, get this thing produced and done and finished, and doesn't really have to worry about, the next commission or the next gig, because he's pretty set up.
Yeah.
So that's how he's able
his own artist.
Yep.
You got to pay your artist in advance.
Which is slightly unfortunate, but I'm actually getting more than my money's worth, I should say.
So if somebody's on the Patreon and they're sending in whatever the proper level is per month, when you have enough for a physical book, do they get the physical book at a discount, or do they just get the physical book because they are the Patreon subscriber?
You get the physical book because you're a Patreon subscriber. So what we do is, like, let's just say we have like a 20-page book, right? Our process is like, I'll check in with Luigi in the morning. He'll give me a page. I'll post that page on Patreon. And then once we have enough completed pages, I put together the PDF package. I create a link in our Patreon exclusive storefront. I shoot that out to everybody so they can get the digital version. Then I also create the printer proof to ship to our printer, get the proof copy. And then once I'm sure like that proof copy is good and we have enough to cover it, I start shipping out to everybody.
Awesome. So you're making enough to cover the shipping too then?
Correct.
That's you've got something going on there that's correct then, because I've never seen a Patreon that I liked enough to get behind and say, yeah, I'll subscribe to that. Second of all, I don't like money going out every month on anything that's not electric or water. I hate those as it is.
That's absolutely fair. For our Patreon, we actually allow you to pay a year in advance.
That'd be sweet. So
no, when you sign up, you get a 10% discount if you pay for the whole year.
So how many books do you think that you actually get out in a year's time?
Let's see. It just really depends. It's about like 2 to 3 ish, because my page count is insane, as I've been criticized for. Because most normal comics are like, let's do a 24-page book, which is either like 17 to 20 pages worth of art and whatever, and then freaking
pinups.
Yeah, then pinups, and then whatever, and then it gets shipped out, right? I'll have like one issue that's like 20 pages. I'll have another issue that's 34 pages. I'll have another issue that's like 60. And so the more pages that you have, obviously it takes time. Like our issue 7 was like, oh God, that was insane. And I really wanted to apologize for people for how long that went. But that was like our finish. And then we actually added like an additional like 10 to 15 pages of just bonus content for everybody, just so that we could get it out on time. How many pages was that? It ended up being a total of 63 pages. Our Patreon issue 7. And then I actually took all that and created our final cohesive Patreon trade. And that ended up being somewhere around like 258 pages.
So the trade was the first 7 issues, or was?
Yes, the trade is like the first 7 issues. Technically 8, because we had like the prologue there, and then issues 1 through 7.
So you just said earlier that you got enough for 25 more years.
At least.
That's a retirement plan, dude. And you're talking about you plotted it out. You don't have like scripts written.
No. When I say plotted, I mean like the script's written. It's just waiting for Luigi to get to it.
So you could like kick the bucket tomorrow night, and as long as somebody keeps pressing the button to send the scripts, the money's going to keep rolling for the next 25 years.
Well, like I could kick the bucket, and then as long as basically as long as Dropbox doesn't get canceled out, Luigi should just keep going forever.
There you go. Not that we want you to kick any buckets or run out in front of any buses or anything, but
I mean, I had a good run.
Yeah, succession planning is always good.
What did Maury say? The Men in Black cover was about, I hate you. I hate you so much.
He said you were going to hate him for that.
I hate him so much. Funny thing about Maury Copa there, he's like this Twitch stream. We didn't know like he was a Twitch streamer at the time. Back when Trent and I were trying to get like our Twitches like off the ground along with our comic stuff. And I remember Trent sent me this message like, dude, this guy with like an ass ton of like Twitch followers just raided my stream. Like, what? He's like, yeah, he says he's on our Patreon. Like, what the fuck is this? So we looked and we found it was Maury. And then since then, it's kind of like tradition now. I think Maury showed up around like issue 4. But traditionally now, like every time like we create a property or something, we're going to have like a Mad Maury version of a cover or a variant, just so he can just sell and give away on his stream.
Oh, okay.
Because we just love that guy so much.
I should have simulcast tonight to Twitch so he could have rated our stream, but I have that capability. Twitch kept telling me, okay, here's how far you are till being, Twitch funded or whatever it is. And it's like 6 months later, I haven't moved. I'm like, you know what? I don't have space for a hot tub, and that's what it's going to take. So I just said, yeah, I'm not too worried about
A
streaming
hot
the Twitch
tub and a
anymore.
bikini.
I mean,
What did
yes.
Bullet Ninja Hagelman said? As long as they can wade through all the ginger port on his computer and find the scripts, I keep them in separate folders, sir. I'm not a madman. Well, I am a madman. Did you see them? I'm so getting in trouble for this one.
What do you mean Twitch Toss doesn't allow for simulcast? I've been doing it. And StreamYard exists solely for that. Well, not solely for that, but they provide the capability. I can go to Twitch, I can go to YouTube, and I can go to Facebook all at the same time.
Oh, God. All right. I'm just sending you one last DM. Man. Oh, God.
I'll take
it. We are so getting in so much trouble for this one.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay, so what we looking at here? What you talking about, Willis?
Just, Black Nito and his little homies chilling out, taking a photo. Yeah. Because Black Nito's a family man, just trying to be out there providing for his kids.
So is this just like a print, or is this like going to be a book?
Oh, this is going to be our cover. All right, so we're doing the sorry, I kind of composed myself for a second. It's so funny. So in the upcoming days, you will see this picture get updated a few times. But this will be the Patreon cover set for our crossover with Black Ops.
Cool. So there's an awful lot of space left on that couch. I bet it's going to get updated with a little more homies sitting here.
Yes.
Family growing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nefarious, where's the little white girl? Well, actually, I just did a quick thing here, and I'll just, here you go, Nefarious. There you go. I sent you the link so you can see her.
You sent me the link?
No, I sent it in chat.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just Black Nito and his homies on the couch, and yeah.
And they always tell me I've got to have a partner. I've got to partner with them to cast them multiple. Yeah, you know what? I did it. They didn't stop me. Screw them. If I feel like streaming to Twitch, I'll do it, and then they can kick me off. I don't care. Screw Twitch and their little contracts for streaming. I'm giving them content. Is the way I look at it. But Nefarious is apparently very happy with whatever link you just gave him.
I got you covered, buddy. Want gingers, want boobies, I got you covered.
Oh, Neff is about to start fulfilling on his Mavericks at some point here. I mean, that campaign's over. I think it was over, and I think maybe he relaunched it on Indiegogo after that. But
yeah, I think I saw the Indiegogo.
Okay, but yeah,
I wasn't able to support it, but I shared it whenever I saw the link come through my feed.
Yeah, you know what Neff needs. He needs a mech piloted by Sailor Rogowski.
I don't know. Keeping my toys in my sandbox right here close to the heart for now.
I don't blame you. Although I did see somebody with a campaign, and we had him on the show, and darn it, I don't think I do so many of them. I just can't keep them straight. But somebody had a futuristic spaceship space opera story, and there was a redhead sitting in the bunk.
Matt Trent.
Yes.
Yeah, he did McKinnon Chronicles.
That's the one. And he said
that is
it was
the one.
Descendant.
That is, yes, that's one of Regina's descendants.
So, is it one of Regina's descendants or one of Sailor Rogowski's descendants?
No, it's one of Regina's descendants.
Okay, so it's the zombie rags timeline then. Okay.
We would like to refer to that as the main timeline. Main.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only really, in the grand scheme of things, only two, right? Because once you start going down like the Spider-Verse, it's just like, God, what's the word? Just, you start getting oversaturated with stuff. So the way we went about it was like, you know what, we could just have two. And that's more than enough for what we actually need to do and how we need to work. And one of the other things, like one of the other reasons like why I did like Sailor Rogowski was I get a lot of DMs saying like, hey, I want to do a crossover with Regina and my character, and they can fight zombies, which, you know, that's kind of uninspired and boring, but
Yes.
there's a lot of requests to do crossovers. What I don't think a lot of people understand is just how much work crossovers really fully entail. So
yeah, they sound a lot cooler until you have to actually get down and make them happen.
Right? Like the logistics of like, okay, so how do I get my character from here to there? Or how do I bring their character into this universe without acting corny? And that was like one of the big problems I was having with the the Punchline Black Ops crossovers. Like, how do I make this all work out logistically without it getting too cornball? And with all the stakes being the same. And I finally found a solution 2.5 years later. But I miss Black Bob Ross feels Batman. Hey, bro, he's coming back. Don't worry. I got you, boo. I haven't forgotten. So I was saying, so the idea behind Sailor Rogowski was like, hey, how about we just create a character that people could just easily cross over with and let that happen, you know, organically in itself. So that's kind of like the main idea behind that character and how she goes about, you know, her travels. Not saying that, you know, Regina herself can't hold her own in a crossover, but just it doesn't make sense to go from like zombie to superhero or zombie to mecha or zombie to Western without there being, you know, enough logistics in between to make sense
Some
of it all.
cosmic thing.
Exactly.
So then let me ask you this, and this would be, you know, when it comes to crossovers, and this would be a place where you would have, you know, 100% control, Rags and Regina, since they are two separate timelines. Or has that already happened?
Oh, Rags and Sailor Rogowski?
Yeah.
No, how do I say this without being? It's already happened. You just don't realize it yet.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, so now people get to pour over all the back issues. Like, where did I miss? What did I miss?
Yeah, like it's already happened. You just don't realize it yet. And by the time it happens, or hopefully by the time we get to that specific point in both stories, it'll be like, I can't believe you guys actually pulled that off from a zombie titty book. And I'll just be like, yeah, you shouldn't have judged us by its cover.
I love how you just elevate the entire genre.
You know, like, you know, zombies have been done to death, and I absolutely agree with that. But, you know, there's always a way to kind of elevate the drama and do different things. And it's kind of like, how does Tim say it? Okay, so if you ever read manga, however you say it, the Japanese play on what Tim likes to call hard mode. Well, they'll take something silly and stupid, like a guy who can defeat people with one punch and make you get fully invested, or a superhero named Chainsaw Man that's just blows your mind, right?
Yeah.
So I take a lot of inspiration from all sorts of manga, mostly like Berserk, Dragon Ball, the Slayers. God, what was that other series? Gantz, Eden, Perfect World, Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop. Like, I've even a little bit of Sailor Moon here and there. The Guyver is a main source of inspiration. Fist of the North Star is another. Macross is another. So I have like all these, you know, other things to draw from. And rather than trying to do what's already been done, because a lot of people have pushed us, and even AP to a point, as much as I love those guys, it's like, hey, are you guys going to be more like Walking Dead later? And it's like, nobody wants to watch this ginger in this silly unicorn suit try and be a farmer for 900 issues. That's boring as shit. But what if she went out to go shoot Justin Bieber in the face? That'd be funny. Or what if they fought like a Kanye dragon? That would be funny.
A Kanye dragon. Okay, so
yeah,
so these are all
like Kanye West, but powered by dragon energy. That'd be hilarious, right?
Yeah. So you're does that happen? I mean, you know, California has become zombified, so you know, you would think that you might have some celebrity appearances.
If you got zombies, I mean, why not, you know, zombie Lord Justin Bieber, or, you know, some Hollywood cannibals led by Dave Bautista. I mean, it could happen. It could absolutely happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will. Or like Lindsey Sterling could be like the new Messiah. But, you know, that's just, you know, small talk. But like, Getting back on track. So, like, our character Black Nito, which I'm not going to tell you his origins. If you know the origins, you know it's funny, haha. Thank you, people who made that graphic. I love you to death. But our guy Black Nito here, our boy Daquan, his power is he can manipulate bra wire.
You can manipulate what wire again?
Bra wire.
Okay.
It sounds dumb, right?
Because
like what
could
like, you ever do? What should you ever do with bra wire? Well, we're hoping to show you the absolute insane batshit things we absolutely come up with. Because if it doesn't blow you away,
is like, you know, it's okay. This goes back to when I used to have to do the laundry for my wife, and it would, like, you know, I'd pull the stuff out of the washer, put it in the dryer. She said, "Did you hang my clothes?" I'm like, "Are your clothes made out of enchanted cotton? Because mine don't shrink in the dryer." So I'm thinking now that bra wire also has some sort of special enchantment.
Powered by boob sweating. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Use bra wire. That's different.
It's different. No, like the idea with it is like I wanted to give him like a power, like because you look at the guy, and, you know, you're looking at my He's looking at my avatar here. He's dressed like he's dressed as Magneto. I keep saying Black Nito, it's not Magneto. But he's dressed like Magneto with a really terrible hairline. So you're expecting him to do Magneto type stuff. It's like, well, what if we did that, but really, really dumb? What could we actually do with this? And so we kind of brainstormed it, and then we got, okay, what if we could just use bra wire? And this is kind of where you start taking inspiration from, you know, other sources. Like, you'll just say like Naruto. Like, okay, Naruto had ninjas. How many times has ninjas been done to death? But they did ninjas in an interesting way, and so we're hoping to do Black Nito with his power over bra wire in a more interesting way. So
I see it developing in high school.
Oh man, no, my high school story was about cat ninjas. It was very, very terrible. I don't even want to talk about it.
No, I mean his powers developing in high school.
Oh, yes, his powers did develop in high school, and one of the running gags is like he can walk by a girl, guess her chest size, and then snap the bra or draw the bra wire from the bra and add it to his collection.
Add it to his collection because he needs to have a supply of bra wire, you know, to make his powers work.
Yeah, kind of like Gambit with his cards.
So basically, if he was like, you know, fighting some monster in the street and he just said, "I'm going to pin you in," and, you know, suddenly there's like this cage of metal around him, and every woman on the street's going,
"Yeah,
got it,"
or hugging their chest. But if he gets like punched around and knocked into a mall, the first place he's running to is the Victoria's Secret. It's like, what are you doing in here? It's like, ma'am, I need to borrow your bra.
Yeah, of course, you know, he could run into like a Skechers where it's nothing but sports bras and be like, damn it.
So that's kind of like the drawback, because sports bra have like flex wire in it. It's not the same as the bra wire for a normal bra, so he can't do anything with sports bras. That's his weakness. So like if you wear a sports bra over a normal bra, he can't quote unquote see through it.
I've wrapped you in a cocoon of bra wire. You only have 18 hours to live. Okay, I'm down with it.
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, well, you know, this is a Grant Morrison-esque kind of superhero, like the stuff he used to do in Animal Man when he had characters like the Envelope and the Green Cigarette. When does this happen? When do we see Black Nito come about? Is it in RAGS or is it its own book?
No, this is canonically RAGS number 8. So this is getting drawn up in about, I want to say, another 2 weeks. Let's see, about next week, just start seeing pages come through, getting posted on Patreon, and then I'll post snippets on Twitter.
Okay, so for a guy who's not on Patreon, that's the only way to get the books, other than the AP versions.
Correct, technically. So what we're also doing as part of like our new Patreon revamp, we're gonna start taking pre-orders through our store. So once we get all the Patreon books fulfilled, we'll start taking like the normal base level cover, right? And we'll start selling those on our storefront.
All right, and that storefront is the newageninjacore.com. I've got the
Correct.
link. I've got the link below there. I've got the link up the top of the chat, so people can get to it two ways from here.
Right. Just like we're taking pre-orders for our Jason Scott Campbell homage cover, which includes Sailor Rogowski's parts 1 and 2. So once we start getting all the Sailor Rogowski's shipped over to our Patrons, and once we know those are delivered, we'll start shipping these out to our regular customers.
Gotcha.
So this exclusive actually goes away next Friday.
And that would be this one here. I'm going to
Correct.
try to get...
And it comes in 2 different versions. It comes in it's called holographic lava, which is really neat, and also has a cardstock cover. The real neat thing is like the back of it. It has I'll DM you the image. I know you're hating me with all these DMs.
I got so many DMs. So this is a $30 cardstock cover book here.
Correct.
Okay, you guys are getting into the merch. I like that though. I happen to be a merch lover. If it's the right kind of merch.
We have been in the merch for, I think, I actually started funding this with merch. Actually, I've been in the merch game for like a hot minute.
So the important question, and I have missed this, and I apologize, Jason, if you're still out there. But yeah, there is the RAGS costume that was promised. I
can't speak on that because I'm not the person wearing it, but I do know that it has been delivered.
It has been delivered. Okay. So Jason, you're going to need a Patreon account.
Matter of fact, actually, I don't think she's going to, I believe she's going to post that. I don't know where she's going to post it. I think it's going to be on Twitter, but that's her thing, not mine.
I expect that to include probably the black leotard.
I don't know. I can't say anything, but what I can say is we actually did a version of that right here.
Okay, so where are you sending me right here? Is
this
private
is
chat or?
Yeah, it's private chat.
Okay.
So you can pull it up. Good. I know I should stick with one chat, but images, links.
I got stop screen, share screen, share screen. Find the right tab. Wrinkle Gannon's Dungeon. Okay. So you got sort of like a slave Leia RAGS.
Yeah. Well, that's actually not RAGS. That's another spinoff character we made by Wrinkle. We just like gingers, so we just make ginger characters.
And you can get this print for $14 in a premium mat.
Yep, and there's actually other options too. The
Other
you can thing,
get different sizes.
Yeah, different sizes, but different paper finishes too.
That's cool.
But the knots, if you want the version of that's not safe for work, that's on the Patreon side of the house.
Okay, so you're gonna make people go to that Patreon site, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you. I didn't know, with New Age Ninja Corps being what basically the branding for the Patreon, and then you have the website, if the Patreon site might end up showing up there at a premium price or something.
No, but everyone gets like a 10 to 20% discount as long as they buy through, as long as they're a Patreon. So
what am I? Don't stop the camera, RJ. That would be stupid.
This is also our way of fighting back against Gingerside.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, that's why I said who's going to play her in the Netflix show.
I guess a popular vote right now is Queen Latifah.
Exactly.
But this is the back cover to that Jason Scott Campbell homage. And that actually looks very good on that holographic lava.
Now here we do have, Common America backed up against her. So but covers are easy to cross over. It's just a cute image. You don't actually have to write a story around it. It's just, yeah, we're all here. We're all, in the same company. It's just like Superman and Warlord and, whatever for a DC cover. It
Right.
doesn't have to be the story.
Right. And this all works. And if this lands the way I hope it lands, it'll give Regina a lot more room to cross over into Punchline and play in that universe. And then also into freaking Black Ops in that universe too. So you can have the crossovers that everybody's always asked for and wanted happening all at once. And then I can still go and work and do my stories on the back end.
All right.
But also boobs.
Also boobs. Apparently lots and lots of boobs. But not if you get the AP books. You've got to find the New Age Ninja Corps books.
Correct.
There's technically still boobs in the AP ones, but
they have bunnies.
5% less boobs in the AP books. Yeah, well, and having the bunnies there is the perfect reason to cross over with Black Ops.
Exactly. And you know what? We actually got a lot of crap for publishing that way. I can't remember who it was, but some guy was really mad that, like, I can't believe you're double dipping, is what he called it. You're why don't you just release it all uncensored through the publisher rather than just double dip? And
the publisher has to sell it to comic stores?
Yeah. And my response to that at the time was like, hey, well, one, the Patreon version is the way we make money, but more importantly, two, I don't want to throw all my eggs in one basket, because what if, right, the book doesn't sell, and then I'm stuck with trying to somehow fund, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 other books, and I'm paying for this out of pocket.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make sense to give, AP the whole thing, like the whole cow, rather than just, here's the milk, and I'll keep the cow, and I can keep selling the milk to whoever I need to sell it so I can keep doing this thing. And flash forward, like, to current year, and what happened over at Action Labs?
Yeah.
Right? Well, and so it's like, man,
paid.
Woo! Woo!
I mean, you didn't necessarily dodge a bullet on that one because AP hasn't had that happen. But yeah, it's the same situation. You could be, owed lots of money from an independent publisher.
Right. And I'm not saying like AP would ever do that to us, or I'm not saying like, hey, AP is going to screw us out of money. But what if? Like, you can never know. Like, I love those guys over there, and they haven't done us wrong at all. So we'll keep publishing content through them as much as we can.
Let AP have the milk. You can maintain control of the udders.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
all right. So where is RAGS going in the immediate future here? Because we talked about that it was like, the zombie story is a limited arc before it moves into the next, either the monsters or the space arc, whichever one, you decide to steer it into. Where's it going immediately, and for how much longer will it be where it's at?
It's going. Do I really want to say? All right. So we've done zombies. So now we're doing Zombie Lord Justin Bieber. That's the next arc. That's the whole point of the entire arc. There may be some maple syrup vampires. I'm not kidding. Yes, maple syrup vampires.
Okay, I can dig it. Maple syrup vampires from Vermont. Yeah, Canadian, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like I can't say too much more. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, and he's still, it's the Beebs, and the boobs.
Beebs and the boobs.
There's your that's a working title. Run with it. It's for free, and they'll be sticky with all that maple syrup. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that's gonna run. I got to it's like 12 or 13 in that, and then I kind of took a break because work got hectic during COVID, so I haven't finished the last half of it. But that was probably gonna go for like I want to say about 20 or 30 issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a long running story arc.
Oh yeah, that story arc is gonna go on for a minute, and then we're gonna get into the last half and then go out and then just keep going from there.
Okay, so here, let me ask you a writer question. How do you handle a 30-issue story arc and keep each chapter exciting without becoming Tom King?
So you know Ghostbusters?
Yes.
I just channel Ghostbusters into every script. Just as long as it's entertaining and funny to me, it's got to be a blast. And also too, with Luigi's art, the really neat thing is, so like most people, have you ever seen, who's the guy who wrote Killing Joke?
Alan Moore.
Yeah, okay, that guy, right? So you look at his scripts, and they're just like pages and pages and pages of like descriptions.
It's
and
like, page 1, panel 1, upper left corner. There's a bird. He's got one eye. He's
yeah, he owes the mafia $20, so he's looking frantically. I don't have to do that with Luigi. We are so in sync that I actually have to go back and take out a whole bunch of words and descriptions from all the pages and paneling.
Yeah,
so,
you don't want to bend us a boob book.
What's that?
You don't want to bend us a boob book.
Exactly. So if you also too, if you notice, like our dialogue doesn't really get like too dialogue heavy. It's just, the characters say what they need to say, then they move on. They're not there to preach to you about anything. Just like, oh man, this shit's fucked up. All right. Oh, hey, nice. There's some eggs over there, and they go about their thing. So what the process is now is like I rip out as much unnecessary detail as I humanly possibly can. Then I give it to Luigi and be like, all right, this is the gist of what I want, and you can fill in the blanks. And he absolutely loves that.
So it's sort of like the Stan and Jack approach.
Yeah.
With a little bit more direction than that.
Right. And then like if anything's not funny or not entertaining or I'm not feeling like it hits, I bring it back to Trent, like, hey dude, how do we fix this? And then Trent comes up with something. I'm like, oh God, that's genius. And then we just go do that.
So does RAGS taking up like all your time now, or are you thinking, hey, we've got a publishing company, we've got New Age Ninja Corps. Why don't we have another book, not even related, or maybe set somewhere else in the world of RAGS?
So right now, I don't like to spread myself thin, right? It's not bad being a one-trick pony in my head. Like if I do this one thing good, I'm gonna keep doing this thing good for as long as I can. Because like I might write another story and it just might not land as well. So.
Well, I know people want to see. You got Black Nito.
Well, he's part of the RAGS storyline, but we'll get to that. So, what I do in the interim is like, okay, I'll write new stories, but just to see if they land or not, we have like this other thing that we call American Hops that we're working with the Mythiverse guys and some other guys we got going on. So we'll build like an anthology, see what people like, see what people don't like, and then go from there. At this time, I honestly just can't afford another artist. Patreon is like my full-time job as of 2 weeks ago. So there's just no way I can afford another artist, especially one that will be reliable, like Luigi's reliable. So as much as I would like to go do other stories and these other things, I think like, what? I should just focus on making RAGS the best thing I humanly possibly can. And if I'm able to slip in other stories, we'll go do that. Cause I know how like Luigi and I have worked together for so long. I know like, okay, 1 4-panel page is going to take him about a day and a half. But if I throw in like a pinup, that's going to push him back by 3 days. So I really need to like spread out. Well, because of how much time he's going to take on this, make sure the pose is right, the sketch is right, the inks and the colors and the rendering and whatnot. So it's like, okay, I know how much time he spends on stuff and how fast he is. And honestly, 3 days isn't that long. But if he's spending 3 days on a fully rendered pinup versus a day and a half on just inks, where I could get more pages out of him doing inks, which ones am I going to do first? So it's like, okay, I'll have him do like pinups like at the very beginning of the month and then at the end of the month, just to not interrupt like his page speed.
Good. Well, it's It's part of being a good comic writer is that you really have to be a scripter, but also an art director. And you have to know what your artist can do and what they're capable of, and how to tell them what you want from them. So
Right, exactly. And I get shit for this all the time, but there's some days where Luigi will be like, "Hey, I've worked for like 12 hours on this thing, man. I'm almost done. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you in like a few seconds." I'm like, dude, take like 2 days, get some sleep,
yeah,
get up, stretch, go take your wife out, like go spend some time with your kid. Just take some time off. And he gets mad at me. He's like, "Yeah, but I got all this work for you to finish." Like, it'll be there. The work will be there.
the work will always be there.
Work will always be there. I don't want from this. I don't want this guy working himself to death, right?
Yeah.
This is just another thing that I manage, and we get yelled at. Like, you guys take so long to do stuff. Like, look, I got to look out for this guy as much as I humanly possibly can. Because if you ever look at how, have you seen like the schedules for some manga artists? They're like insane, right? They get like,
I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely insane. And
your
I
artist
don't want to throw this out, but like I've seen how much work Tim has done on Common America, and I've seen how that's affected his health in some ways. And it's like, man, I don't want that for Luigi's. Like, dude, take a week off if you need to. Take a few days. The money will, as long as the Patreon keeps coming, the money will be there. Just get some rest. Get some rest.
Yeah,
dude.
and the other thing that you have to keep in mind for your artist is you have to keep them engaged in the story. I tell the story how I tried to pick up in action comics. Action comics from DC in recent months, and I'd be like, the art is all sketchy and it's like half done. I'm like, who did this? And I'm like, oh my god, this is John Romita Jr. Why is this like this? He's really phoning it in now, or he's in his latter years, retire. And then I saw this Catwoman story in the 80th anniversary issue that was a well-written story, and JR Jr. did it, and it was like phenomenal. I was like, oh, I get it. He's bored. So you don't want your artist getting bored with the stories, because that's when you start seeing them phone it in like JR's doing with action.
Right. And I talked to Luigi for about a good 4 hours in the morning, because I wake up at 3 a.m. and the first thing I do when I wake up is like, hey man, just checking in. And then we catch up for a little bit. And I absolutely make sure that, like, hey, how do you feel about this? Right. So if he's not interested in drawing something, it's like, okay, I'll put that on the back burner. I'll find a way to make it different. When I pitched to him Black Nito, it's like, hey man, how do you feel about this? And when I explained to him like the whole power set and what we were going to do with it, the guy was dying laughing. That's guy was just dying laughing. And it was like, man, this is going to be so much fun. If you actually get the time to read Taylor Rogowski, I told usually so with RAGS, I'm very rigid. Like, hey, Regina has to move this way. She has to do these things. She's got to hold her weapon this way. This person's got to do this. Like, it was very rigid. He had no flexibility on anything. For Taylor Rogowski, I was like, hey, dude, just have fun. I don't care. Just have fun. Just draw it however you feel like. And you can see it, that came through the pages where, in RAGS, it still turned out great, still turned out good, but he was just following directions.
Yeah.
Up until I believe it was issue 6 is like where I was like, okay, here's where you get to have fun. Here's where you get to to flex your artist muscle and just let go. And you can tell in those pages he had a blast. So I like to give him more opportunities to do that.
Well, I am going to have to start looking in eBay and every place to find these back issues of RAGS, because I want it all. I don't want it filtered. Whenever I read a book, issue 6 is the best one. Okay, I'll start with there. Aaron, I'll do that. And Aaron, did you get an email from me this weekend? Let me just drop a line if you did or not, because you should have. I'm still trying to check to make sure that the system I have here works properly for sending out emails when I mail things out. God, we have a very active chat here tonight too. So I'm so happy all you guys showed up. Mike Walters is here. You getting ready to start on the mic stand later tonight? Yes. If you are interested in niche news, then that is the place to go. Fridays, you get the whole golden age look at comic books, because Mike's starting to read comics and he's going back to Genesis, and starting from there. You don't read your email. Okay, well, never mind then. You have a package from me, or through me, that is going your way, and the system supposed to generate an email to everybody who gets a shipment. So I just wanted to make sure that that was working, because I always had questions about it.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
out of beer.
I didn't tell them that. I figured I was just let them think I was rude and over talking you. But yeah, I'm also out of beer, and it's also my last beer. So
First cut is the deepest.
it's sadness. Yeah, the first Budweiser, the morning's always the best one.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that I work from home, that man makes
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, which it's an interesting lifestyle. I mean, literally, I'm renting a room here in Arkansas because this is where the job is, but I don't have to be in the office. In fact, they have fewer chairs than they have employees, so they say, work at home. This is my bed, that is my pantry, this is my workstation. I move this much in an 18-hour period. That's my life right now.
Mine is wake up, talk to Luigi, go to the gym, come back home, and just work on more scripts.
That would be nice. If I start, we started off this whole shipping business because, when I talk to crowdfunders, one thing I'm really good at is spending other people's money, and saying, hey, how come you don't have 3D prints of Sailor Rogowski or Regina, or things like that, or, hey, this cover you've got here needs to be an 11x17 print. Put that on the campaign. When I talked with all the foreign creators, they were like, yeah, we can't get anything sold into the U.S. in great quantities because the shipping sucks. And that's when I came up with our drop ship method, and we've got over a dozen clients now. And I don't know why I was bringing it up, because now I forgot what my train of thought was. But anyway, we do that. That's what I was asking Neff about. He doesn't want my package now. But yeah, if that we ship a couple of $100 for somebody, I'm like, that's $400. That's a car payment. And then I see somebody like that umbrella guy says, here's a picture of our garage. We got 8,000 units to move. I'm like, that's quit my job money right there. So someday maybe, if we keep it going, maybe that will be my full-time job, is get up, go to the gym, come home, package books, and watch Netflix.
Yep. I need to package a book for Maury here in a minute. Get that out to him.
A book.
Yeah. So Maury is one of my favorite patrons, and as you know, we also do like exclusive covers for the guy. I shipped him a book, and unfortunately, there ended up being like a ding on it, in like the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shred the book and get him a new, fresh one.
There you go.
Because that's the other thing we do on our Patreon. If for any reason your books get like damaged, like say your house burned down, or you got robbed, or your wife found your copy and dumped them in some bleach, we'll replace it. We'll do everything we can to replace it.
Your books come with insurance.
Like I feel like, hey, look, if you're paying how much a month for us to keep going, that's the least we could do.
I like that. That is not something I've ever heard anybody doing before.
That's the least we do. We had a guy. Sorry to interrupt, but like we had a patron, right? We do like auctions in Discord too. So we'll auction off like pages from Luigi, or we'll auction off like some of our more rare books, some of the books I've signed and got CGC'd, right? So what I did, so we have like this one, it's our cute sexy robots cover. It's like our most popular cover, but it's also our most rare book. Only 7 of these were like ever printed,
which you did before John Malin, by the way.
Yes, which I did way before John Malin. Which, no, I'm going to get back to that in a second. I'm going to finish telling my story. Now you got me drunk and angry. All right. So, this one of our patrons had to sell this Robots cover, which had a metal cover on it, and Stamey's hit for everybody. So that book went upwards almost grand. This other guy bought this book in this auction, which actually helped another guy buy an AC unit for his house because the old AC unit got busted and it was like an emergency sell. So it helped out two different people. And that's kind of like we do on our Discord. Like if someone's house caught fire and they need to sell some books, like, hey, yeah, we'll just throw up an auction. We'll see how much money we can get you for it. So
we have a super chat, by the way. This is you being here has earned me $5 tonight from Nefarious. Thank you, Nefarious, so much. He says this was the best Critical Blast episode yet, which means if this is the best episode yet, I can quit doing shows with this guy, and he can retire, because I thought Marmalade was the one who was doing the better shows than me. But he said next time, Rags is the tits. Literally, next time get Luigi.
So Luigi's hard to get because one, time zone, two, I don't want him to stop drawing for me ever. And yeah, he's still in his basement, chained to his no, I'm kidding. It's just like time zone issues, and his spoken English he's not too comfortable with. So
gotcha.
Anyway, let me finish my story real quick. So anyway, the guy who paid like $2,000 for this very rare, very exclusive metal cover book, right? Sent those into CGC. Oh, he sent them to me to sign. So I signed them. I mean, you paid $2,000 for a book. Yeah, I'm gonna sign that motherfucker. Yeah. So we signed it. We sent it to CGC, and CGC ended up like damaging all of his books.
That's the opposite of what they're supposed to do.
Like a very complete opposite of like what they're supposed to do, right? And he's sitting there like, I guess I'm fucked. I'm out. I just spent $2,000 to get this thing done. And he just spent like $2,000 to get this very rare, very exclusive book, and it's now gone, right? It's absolutely shut on. And so I was sitting watching Ginger research like I do, and don't judge me. I was like, all I have to do is go back, repackage the PDF from memory, I can make him a new one. So I reached out to him like, hey, just pay for shipping and I'll just go ahead and rebuild the thing. And I let everybody in Patreon know like, hey, there are only 7 of these ever created. I'm making an 8th, and here's the reason why. There's no reason why anybody should spend, like, if you spend up like $500 or more on a book and it gets damaged or messed up anyway, yeah, I'm going to do everything in my power to fix it. So
that's customer service.
I mean, you're spending that much money on my stuff. This is kind of why I don't like the idea of limited print runs. It's why I don't like the idea of like Indiegogo and Kickstarter in a way. So like, okay, well, what if 10 years later, right, someone's house catches on fire and they lose all their stuff? Like, hey, I really enjoyed your series, but all my books are gone. It's like, I can still hit print and get you your shit back.
So wait a second. You're extending this insurance thing. You're hypothetically extending it 10 years down the road.
As long as I'm alive. As long as I'm alive and I can still hit print.
Of saying, hey, DC Comics, that action #1 copy I had, the cat pooped on it. Can I get another one, please?
Yeah, send the cat poop one in, and we'll get you a new one.
That's very cool. Another
it's insane.
Came in. But Barry says, I said Critical Blast show, not Marmalade show, you goon. Don't you dare cancel my favorite puppet. I will cut you. Also, artists work better chained up. So
that's true.
So do models, by the way.
But for different reasons.
Yes.
All right. So let's get back to this John Maley thing, because now I'm drunk and angry. I said I wouldn't even talk about it, but now we're talking about it. So for one, we got accused of swiping the stupid snowmobile thing, but actually Matt Weldon has been working on this little, we've been kind of brainstorming like this winter swimsuit thing for like 2 years. It's just taking a minute to get, moving, because we all have like our different projects and our different things going on, right?
Right.
So what ended up happening was I tweeted out the latest iteration of, what Matt had drew for like the snowmobile, and I put that as a print in our store, and I'm just advertising her stuff, and then out of nowhere, I see like this quote tweet, and it's like, wait, what's this quote tweet about? And it's John Malin just sitting there talking shit, and it's like, what kind of fucking smoke are you on? So I spent weeks just memeing the fuck back out of that guy, right?
Yes.
Matt ended up reaching out to him and explaining the whole deal, and that ended up like he ended up apologizing to Matt Weldon, right? Which, hey, that's cool. But guess who he never fucking apologized to? Never apologized to me. He talked shit to me. He opened his mouth and got loud to me, talked shit to me, but he didn't fucking apologize to me. I'm extra salty about that. But what reason why I'm salty about it is I kept memeing about it because it was funny. But freaking people are like, oh, you still meme at John Malin even though he apologized. That motherfucker didn't apologize to me. Never fucking apologized to me. So if you can talk shit to somebody, wasn't even fucking related.
So Brian, this is the way my mind works.
I got bad.
How much does a patron of Patreon have to donate for a scene in a book in canon of Rags taking out a bearded, beanied zombie with an oar?
So here's the thing. We will absolutely do like if there's like a really good idea, like, hey, how about like Regina play golf with like I can't think of anything right now, but like if there's a really good idea, we'll do it. We will absolutely do it, right? What we won't do, and this is kind of where I draw the line, I'm not going to put people into my work and give them my space and headspace.
There you go. So
I've actually gotten tell them about the F mic. Okay, so the F mic variant was a different story. That was all in good fun. But like say if God, I gotten so many requests like, hey, why don't you draw operator taking a dump into EVS's skull? I'm like, no, we're not gonna fucking do that. That's stupid, right? And there's like other things like that we've been requested to do over the years. I'm like, no, we're just not going to do that.
I just thought if she grabbed an oar and then smacked somebody over the head with it, it would be kind of funny. But
yeah, but people would get the reference, and it's like, yeah, I'm not about that. I'm just
in time too.
Yeah, I'm just here to create my work and have fun with it. I'm not here for getting into drama with other people. I'm not here with messing with other groups and triggering them and making them all angry. I just want to write my zombie titty book in peace and have fun with it and have other people enjoy it. Like if you like gingers, you like boobs, come over here. Let's have a good time. There's room at the table for everybody.
Well, I also think the reason that John was angry, particularly about the snowmobile thing, was because he had just kind of gotten screwed over by Indiegogo, or was it Indiegogo or YouTube? One of the two, probably YouTube. Because he had the thumbnail, and guess what? YouTube, their AI scanned it and said, "Hey, it's a bare bottom there," when it wasn't, and they censored it for nudity and sex and nudity. Which, the AIs at YouTube are not good with white bikinis on white women.
They are not. They are not.
No.
But yeah, I guess he has every right to be angry and upset about that. But I don't follow him or any of that nonsense over there. I'm just over here creating gingers and boobs and having fun with it. That's it.
Go. And in between there's freckles. Got to be freckles.
Yeah. Oh, there's absolute freckles. Sometimes on a boob, sometimes on a butt, sometimes other places that we can't mention on YouTube because you'll get demonetized. But you know what I'm talking about.
That. Yes. Yeah, I think I do. Secret freckles.
Secret freckles. So the F mic variant, because Maury wants me to tell you how that came about. That actually came about because I was at San Diego Comic-Con. It was like the last one I went to. And I'd actually had like a stack of books that I was taking over to CGC to get graded and actually start a creator account so I could start getting like the yellow labels for people.
Okay.
Because that was like another service I was offering for a little bit before CGC went to shit. It's like, hey, send your books to me. I'll sign them. I'll send them in, and then forward them right back to you, so you guys can get like signed graded books. now we're just kind of holding off on that until we see like their shit gets better. But anyway, the guy at the table I was talking to, his name was Brian too. So we were like, he was like, yeah, so who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm Brian Ball. Right. He's like, well, I'm Brian. I'm like, oh my God, Brian. So we're having like this really awesome meeting of the Bryans, right?
Right.
And it was great. And then the guy next to us was like, well, my name's Mike. And I looked over like, Mike, who the fuck is Mike? Fuck Mike, right? And I just went on this little rant. And later on, like after I calmed down, I was like, hey man, I was just fucking with you. It didn't mean any harm. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. It's whatever. Like, hey, look, this is what we'll do. I will get my artist to draw my character doing this thing to you. You can't show that on YouTube, but I'll DM it later.
Okay.
I'll do this, and then we'll send it in as a cover. So if at any point you see these covers come in, you can actually sign it. So then, hey, you have a thing too. And he thought it was a really cool idea. So if you ever get like the called the F Mike variant, but if you ever get that cover from us and send it in CGC, and if Mike is still around, he'll actually sign the book, and you'll get like that extra note, like a first appearance of Mike Dernst, signed by Mike Dernst. He usually signs it like in gold Sharpie. So that's like another neat little thing that we had going on.
I'm sure he's got everybody notified. Says, hey, if this book comes in, send it my way.
Oh, we absolutely. So before they even go in, like I have people like, hey, are you gonna send in a sent? Just let me know ahead of time so I can let them know to look out for it.
There you go. All right. Well, Brian, I think I'm sure there's a whole universe of Ginger stuff we could be covering still. I don't know what it would be to ask. So is there anything about RAGS that people need to know? And I haven't asked about because, I'm ignorant. I'm literally, like I said, I'm from the outside on this thing. I don't know what's going on.
Just know that it's not just zombies. Like, just take your head out of the zombie box and just be patient with us, because where we need to take it has got to be deliberate. We're going like very 80s comedies with it, like the more Bill Murray comedy where you're not staring at the camera and winking and saying applause and laugh. We're making sure like the jokes are delivered, and then when you go back and read it, like, oh my God, I missed that joke. The whole entire book is designed to be reread multiple times because there may be things that you may or not miss. So,
well, and you've already said, we've already seen the connection between her and Sailor Rogowski, and nobody knows it. So, hopefully, everybody in the chat tonight is digging out all their copies, saying, "What did I miss? What did I miss? Where's it at? Where's it at?" And maybe somebody will find it.
Right? Like, there's a lot.
Tweet me.
Like, there's a lot of. Like, I can spoil these Easter eggs. Like, there was like the Contra little. Remember the NES version of Contra where you had like that mode? Like, once you went in the base, you're like at the bottom and shooting at the bosses to make your way through the hallway to get to the final boss at the end.
Right.
There was like a little Easter egg to that. There was also an Easter egg. Oh, there was also multiple Resident Evil Easter eggs in there. There was so many Sailor Moon references. There was like a half dozen Sailor Moon references. And like, there's so many just little tiny Easter eggs. And there's even a fuck Mike Easter egg in there if you look closely enough at the background. But the real thing to note is like, we're just out here making comics for, if you enjoy it, that's cool. If you don't, that's also cool. We don't mind. We just want people to read our stuff, have fun. If not, hey, just find something, that's fun for you and that makes you happy. That's all we want at the end of the day.
The Flock Comics group has put up a quote here, and I'm leaving this up here because RAGS is a comic made by people that want to have fun making comics. And I have said for a couple of years now that the biggest problem with the big two, the mainstream publishers, is that they are no longer run by people who love comics. We don't have the Julie Schwartzes, the Stan Lees, the Dick Giordanos, the Roy Thomases anymore in the mainstream. And that's one of the reasons why I love getting my crowdfunded books in the mail here, because y'all aren't making the super big bucks. You're doing it because you love comics. And not only do you love comics, but you're talented at making them. And when you have those two things come together, it's going to connect with a readership that's quite frankly, starved for what we used to have, and has been taken away from us.
Yeah. My big problem with the big two is the stories never go anywhere.
No, they don't.
Like
100 issues. We're bringing on a writer, and he's going to be here for 100 issues, and it's going to be the one big story arc. I'm like, no. I miss the days, and I know Rags has got a story arc, so I'm not ragging on Rags, no pun intended.
I love puns.
But I miss the days when it's like, hey, I picked up a Batman comic. Guess what? It starts off with page 1 of an adventure, and it ends on the last page of that same adventure, and it's done. And you pick up next month, and it's just more Batman doing more Batman stuff. I don't need, back in my day, if it was 2 parts, it was a real big deal. I don't need 50-part story arcs.
Right.
And Days of Our Lives with Batman.
That's fair. I write in a way that's more influenced by manga, to where like you really have one story arc, but it's split into like little chapters, and that whole entire story arc is leading to an eventual end.
Yeah, that's my problem. That's an epic. Right. It's going somewhere.
So that's kind of where that's my approach, really. So we have like the zombie arc, and we have the Justin Bieber arc, and we have the Chuck E. Cheese arc, and we have the other one that I can't speak of yet, but it's all there to eventually lead to this ending. Whereas you go pick up Spider-Man any given day of the week, he's fighting the Green Goblin again.
Yeah.
Okay, that was cool back in like 75, and like the stories just don't go anywhere. Like I can't get into Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, or any of the mainstream titles because they just don't go anywhere.
I could do that.
Downtown Abbey with Batman.
Downtown Abbey with
Batman.
It
would just be an Elseworlds, which Elseworlds and the Alta universe are way more interesting than anything else.
Yeah.
But again, nobody wants like a 17-part story arc with like 18 different crossovers and 3 different variants having to leap from this book to another book like you just want a story that you can pick up at 1 and read all the way through and be like, oh my god, that ended. I forget who I asked this question to. It was like, hey, it was a tweet. It was a tweet I made when I was drunk. It was like, when was the last time you've actually cheered for Peter Parker? Like, when's the last time you actually cheered for Spider-Man? Because I can tell you the last time I cried when I watched Naruto. Yes, I cried. That was touching. But like, I cried during some parts of Berserk. Like, there were some real touching parts in there. Just that's the way the stories were written. You don't really have those moments in mainstream comics anymore. It's like, no. The last time anyone really cried over Spider-Man is when he died. And that was Ultimate Comics. And then he got brought back. And so like that whole arc is now meaningless.
Yeah, they always come back. You can't.
Yeah, they always come back. And that's the one thing I think mainstream comics really needs to just do. It's like, hey, either bring them back or leave them dead. Like,
or quit killing them.
Or quit killing them, or just let them like okay, let's just keep on with Spider-Man because that's easy. Let Peter grow the fuck up. Oh, sorry. Let Peter grow up. Just let the man grow up. Let him marry Mary Jane. Let him have Mayday Parker and go on with his life, and have Miles kind of take over as a protege. Boom. That people would throw money at that. Absolutely throw money at that.
And it would let Marvel out of that entire Ditko lawsuit that's coming up.
Right? It absolutely would.
Because Spider-Man, this is a different Spider-Man than the one you made. It's not the same guy.
It's just the title. I mean, if they're gonna do that, like when they killed Wolverine, it was like, he'll be back 5 years. And lo and behold, he was back in less than that.
Yeah. I used to say the only people who could stay dead in comics were Uncle Ben and Bucky. And now it's just Uncle Ben.
No, Uncle Ben came back as Old Ben Spider.
Oh, no. That alternate universe, though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Alts don't count because that's, honestly, nobody, and I know you've got 2 multiverses, two universes. Nobody can handle a multiverse in comics other than DC Comics pre-1990.
Correct.
They knew what to do with it and how to use it. Marvel's just like, I was like, this What If series that's on TV right now, like, What if used to be like, let's take a pivotal moment and flip the coin and hand up tails instead of heads and go that direction from there. The TV show is just like, hey, what if Captain America was a Skrull? And it doesn't have the connection to the stories that which drew us in when we were reading them. We're like, yeah, I remember when that story happened. Wow, what if they could have done that differently? The TV shows are just a little too wild,
right? But like
unrestrained.
Like that's where like the what ifs would have came in and been like perfect. Could have just kept doing that. And I'm one of the few people who liked the Superior Spider-Man storyline just because it was different.
Yeah.
It was just different enough. Cool. Like, okay, what if Spider-Man actually killed people? Like, yeah, Deadpool, but this is just an interesting way to go about it. That's awesome.
I have read it, Citizen. I loved it. Loved all the amalgam stuff.
It was what was it? Batclaw and Sparrow?
Yeah, Darkclaw and I forget what the
Darkclaw and Sparrow.
Yeah, it was a Jubilee Robin character crossover.
Yeah.
Which made sense because it was, they both wore red and yellow. Of course it made sense. All right. Brian, I'm going to have to let you go here. I don't want to keep you all night because we could start, meandering about comics of yore. And, anytime that we want to talk gingers and boobs, that always steers the conversation back to interesting things. So I just want to say thank you for coming on and elucidating me with, what RAGS is and converting me into wanting to be a customer. So I'm going to start checking that out, getting into this whole thing. Since there's a trade paperback, good jumping on point. Folks in the chat, I have linked you all to newageninjacorps.com where you can go find these books and find some merch. If you haven't been reading RAGS, then if you are like me, then you're going to want to hit that up and start, throw money. It works. That's how
Feed my beer habit.
Yes, there you go. So, and you didn't even need to take off your pants. Well, I don't know who you are, New Age Ninja Corps. So,
that's me. That's me in the chat. I was just trolling my chat.
I was gonna say, it's like it could be you, could be Liz, could be Luigi. I was like, totally a different answer depending on who's running that account there.
That's all me.
Yeah,
I do have like two final things to say when you're done.
Go.
Okay, so one, thanks for having me on. Glad we had this talk. It was really fun. I need to do more live streams. Two, and this is the real major one I keep forgetting to bring up. RAGS is not Regina's nickname.
Thank you. I did not know that.
That is like the biggest misconception ever. Like the title RAGS does not even remotely refer to Regina
her last
anyway.
Name is Ragowski. You would think that it's a shortened form of it or something.
Oh no. It actually stands for something else that I can't say on stream, but once you pass the first 30 seconds, YouTube doesn't listen anymore. Yeah, fair. It stands for random ass insert word stuff. I'll just let your mind wander. You can fill in the G for whatever you need, but it's just this is just random ass shit that Trent and I threw together. So that's what the title really stands for.
Okay, and just happens to be. So nobody ever calls her RAGS in the book. It's always Regina.
It's always Regina or Reggie as the short form.
Got it. Well, that's a bit of trivia that y'all can take home. Now y'all learned something. And boy, this is where I should have and knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe. Damn it.
Yeah, I've got to find that video clip because that would apply much more.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Which I keep, but I've had absolutely no excuse to ever use. Someday I'll be interviewing a Jane. I'll be like, I'm going to be dropping this in every 30 seconds.
Oh, God, I love Dan Aykroyd. I love Dan Aykroyd so much.
All right. Folks in the chat, thank you so much. Thank you for the super chats. Really do appreciate those. We appreciate you just being here. We don't have a show without you guys here. So with that, we, as always, just hope that you had a blast while you were here. Good night.
And stay black.